for VR, it's like I've kind of come to the acceptance that I want to make it easier for me to get into VR. The bit after is you crashing out about trackers, isn't it? Oh yeah, the fact that they make them like inside out trackers.
Fucking Valve hardware just needs to fucking kick this shit up into 7th fucking gear and just release shit.
The next index is apparently inside out tracking. They're also going all in on
No!
tracking.
That scares me. That still scares me to this day. They haven't even released anything, and that scares me. It makes me terrified. I don't want inside out tracking on my Vive unless it's like mixed. Unless it's both inside out and Lighthouse. Like, I don't know what the point is. You have like the most perfect kind of method of like finding out where you are in 3D space, and you're just going to ditch it. So weird. But yeah, let's have a look at VR news. Let's see if I should still panic or not.
Tuesday, your #1 resource for the entire week's worth of VR news.
Your Quest 2 stopped tracking when the sunlight is shining. Yeah, see? I mean, with most VR, I have to black out everything. Like, even though I have a veil in front of my window, I still have to like black it out, like put the curtains up and like to stop like the reflections and shit. But
finally, we got some good stuff to talk about, as even though consumer VR has been a little flat lately, VR research has been absolutely exploding. From cutting edge breakthroughs in ridiculously small form factor holographic displays.
yeah, that's what I mean. They got it right the first time. Like, if they want to use inside out for stability, that's cool. I can agree with that. Like, use a bit of an inside out for stability when like it does get those cases where it loses lighthouse vision. But I just think it would be really weird if they just went no more.
To one of the most promising ultra-wide VR prototypes I've seen yet, capable of up to 180 degrees field of view, to cutting-edge hyper-real VR headsets, and even cat-girl haptics. And on top of that, I got some of the biggest VR news, at least personally, that I have to announce, and I'll get to that at the end. But before all that,
Let's have a look.
myself in a foreign country.
What's going on in the
from
VR
Wi-Fi to
sphere?
Wi-Fi, both to check in on our cat, but mostly to make sure that Deckard hasn't been announced yet. And throughout that entire trip, this video's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, legitimately made my
He's only getting off of his yacht like twice a year. So we gotta wait until Christmas, guys. Wait until Christmas.
entire life a whole lot.
How long does it lead tracking for? Accelerometers should be enough for a little bit, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's in... I think they do already have accelerometers for like prediction. But I actually don't know. I mean, ultimately, the idea, the best plan would be to use all of them together to make like the most impervious system ever. Even if it's like $100 more, right? Like, if you want enthusiast, use everything. Why not? You know? Why not?
A little more protected.
Costaron las dos. I don't know what she says. All I know is that why not have both? You know? Why not have both?
While using relatively sketchy Wi-Fi access points in random foreign countries. And the news.
So
this is something that I've been wanting to do for kind of a long time, but this news day just ended up being kind of perfect for it. This is a special research edition of Tuesday News Day, as while the past couple months of consumer VR have been a little slow to say the least, under the surface, various virtual reality research projects have been absolutely popping off. And honestly, it's basically where all the cool stuff right now is happening in VR. So I just want to jump right into some of the...
Money is why not. Yeah, no, but like... I don't know if... I guess it's one of those things where it's like, do you make a product that lasts forever and you get one sale off of it? Or do you make a product that's like good enough and you make it over and over again. Like, do you have planned obsolescence or not? Like, do you make a good product, or do you not make a good product that you can use forever? I don't know, but I just feel like it would be worth the extra money for the people that want to have the best tracking to have all of them together.
One of the most interesting things that I found, but before we get to the big stuff, I'm gonna whet your appetite with this paper
Base station is ground truth, accelerometer for in-betweening. I would accept it's already, except it's like that already, but I don't know. Like the tracking, render tracking, render frame trick, where the headset just moves the old frame without rendering. I've never really used that. I've never really used like frame blending like that. My computer's never been, it's ironic, because I feel like to use frame blending, you need a good enough computer that will handle it. Because if it doesn't, then it just makes everything slower. At least for me. And I'm already like VR stomach for like 20 frames a second, so whatever.
published in Science Advances. So over the past few years, I've talked about a few different ways to smell and taste virtual reality before, from the long since banned by the US government Feel Real Vaporizer to various gels or diffusers, but this is by far the most interesting. This is what's called a gustatory interface, and right now it allows a user to actually taste the primary range of flavors: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. Unfortunately, there's no spicy yet, but it works using a system of micropumps used to deliver an extremely precise mixture of specific molecules needed to replicate any taste within the supported range. Currently, the researchers have replicated chicken soup, lemonade, cake, and fried egg. So I mean, you're not going to be tasting.
That's going to be a popular one. They got to get that one right. But like, do they automatically tweak it or not? I don't know. How would you know that? It tracks how much pineapple you've had recently. If you had pizza.
A Taco Bell chalupa with this anytime soon, but it's still pretty cool. And I think, as you'll see as a running theme within this video, the researchers concluded that there's a long way to go here, but this method does work right now. And the research being done as some of the first of its kind is greatly broadening the entire field of remote sense stimulation. And we're truly not that far away from being able to taste very specific tastes in VR. It's really not a science fiction anymore. But I think most interestingly, this research is also serving as the establishing ground for this upcoming industry's safety protocol.
When it comes to like a lot of senses though, with the body, my brain is just like, what, like, when do we just like do the whole like deep dive shit, you know? When is it just like, I'm in, you know, like link start? Like, when is that like just gonna be the thing, right? Because why not? I feel like, for me, that's like the actual next step for VR. Whatever with these gloves, you're just gonna get more wires on you, right? Unless you somehow make everything like wireless. Unless you get the exosuit. I've always had this idea. Unless you get the exosuit that's suspended in air, where like you have motors that like resist motion, like whatever, right? Unless you have that, then like, unless you're getting into like the Jaeger suit, right? Like, well, you're just gonna have a bunch of wires that go everywhere, and like it's gonna be like source to source to source to source, and like whatever. Wait, have they already done smell-o-vision, or are they just jumping right to taste-o-vision? I think it's just taste-o-vision. By the way, hi Gewin! Remember, by the way, everyone, you can log in with the new 1-point redeem. Wow. But yeah, I think the next actual step for VR is getting into like the exosuit that's like suspended in air that has resistance, and then the step after that is just deep dive. You're in like a comatosis, and that'll eventually just be like, oh, that's normal, you know, instead of like, what the fuck is going on? Like, eventually it will just be normal, but like, there's that. I think anything else that happens between then and there is like, oh, cool, but I don't think it's gonna be like moving anything forward. Because the biggest problem in VR is not the fact that you can't taste your e-lover's parts, right? You can't taste that virtual alcohol. It's the fact that you can't fucking move properly in VR. And when that's solved, that's like, whoa. You know? That's where like I'm like, ooh, I think I'm interested in this now. Because we got the big screen beyond. We've solved the headset issue of it being big and bulky. Because we have the big screen beyond now, and that's the size of fucking normal glasses. That's like perfect. That's why I want it so much. When your body moves 1-to-1 with your model, that shit is gonna rock so much. Yeah, right? Like it's when you're able to just like move and walk in the VR space without being like limited by the fact that you are in a room. Like, that's why I'm talking about exosuit with the resistive motors, because you just like, if you're smart and cool, and there's plenty of people that fit those criteria. If you're smart and cool, I'm sure there has to be a way to have like the exosuit make it so that you can feel the ground as you walk along it. You can jump. You can like fall a little bit. Like, and it like just resistive and like low power motors, so you're not snapping people's fucking bones. And like locks and shit, right? It's like a hardware lock, like there has to be a way. There has to be a way. I refuse to believe there's not a way to do that. And then I'm gonna be like, okay, this is the shit. And then I won't care about any sort of like change or update to anything until it's like you are able to deep dive into VR. Isn't that just having a mocap suit? No, because the mocap suit is just like knowing where your body is. The exosuit is being able to give you feedback. Because it's got motors and shit in it. Well, presumably. It's got motors and shit in it. Yo, like, we got motors in this shit, bro. Dude. What did Jesse Pinkman say? Yo, we got motors up in this shit. Yo, we're talking about real 6 dimensions of freedom. Yo. 6 degrees of freedom, resistance, perfect locomotion in VR, magnets, bitch. But yeah, it's like, that's where I think that it will work. But what about your body proportions aren't the same as the model? There's so many ways that like it works with like IK that I can't presume it won't work just using that in reverse, right? Just virtually like scale down the legs in the simulation environment, right? And then just apply that to the resistive forces. I'm no engineer. I'm no engineer. I'm just being an ideas person, just an ideas guy. But like, that's the only way I can really see it improving. In the VR space, I don't care about being able to, like, okay, I do a little bit care about being able to pick up shit. That's kind of cool. But I'm more worried about the fact that I want to walk around these cool VR environments like a person. Not a thumbstick. It sucks. It sucks. That's the biggest change I want to see in VR, is being able to move around not with a thumbstick. I want to walk places. If I get $1 billion, I'm getting a warehouse where I can walk around in for VR. And that's probably only going to be like 100,000, you know? That's the ideal, right? But also make it so that that warehouse isn't echoey as fuck. It's really ideas without a tech engineering degree. Look, it's open out there. I don't care who takes the billion dollar idea. I just want to see it real, because sure as shit I can't do it until I'm like Valve Software and I'm able to get a yacht, right? And then do this shit. I can't do it. Hello, return. I saw you earlier. You logged in. Yay.
When it comes to stimulating people's senses
Anyway,
in this
let's talk about tasting your friend's fucking whatever. What does Zone say that penis tastes like? Tastes like not eggplant. Avocado. Taste your friend's avocado. Anyway.
Which is probably a really good idea. I mean, websites already stuff us with enough cookies as is. Just imagine getting served some sort of advertisement in VR alongside
What the fuck? Stimulus.
a tiny
Unconditioned response. I should make this like a meme format.
glucose to spike those neurons. Yeah, we should probably get far ahead of this one. But speaking of things that are either horrifying or incredible, depending on who you ask, researchers at the University of Tokyo, of course, have created a wearable device that simulates having cat ears, moving and reacting to sounds or other stimuli, including head pats on your own head. Using a biometal
Whoa!
within
Now this is
tube,
real
shrinks
shit.
and bends, mimicking the inertial feeling of twitching or touched cat ears. So it's not just some flappy servo or vibrational haptic buzz, which we've seen
Now that's the
before, but
real
instead
shit.
an actual
That's
tactile
technology that makes me excited for VR.
illusion of weight and motion shifting around on your scalp, which is both genius and incredibly cursed. And in
Little
case you're
VR
wondering what
tentacles.
this is even for, it sounds a little random. In an adjacent study, I also found it interesting, but apparently 47% of all avatars in VR social apps that allow it, at least, are humanoids with animal ears, like cat ears. So yeah, that's exactly who this
How the
is
fuck
for,
did they get
about
that stat?
half of all VR social app users. Really, this study centers around a separate phenomenon called the necomimi illusion, which is essentially the sense of ownership over a virtual body part that you don't actually
Necomimi
have. And
illusion.
this is something that I think deserves an entire full dive and video at a later time, but enough with the silly business. As just this past month, Meta, along with some other partners, have published 3 of the most interesting research papers that I've seen in years
Ooh,
regarding
wide
VR,
field of
detailing
view
a few
mixed reality?
specific massive advancements in virtual reality that I think just about everybody has been looking forward to. And I think these papers serve as a sort of pulse check on the entire industry, at least technology-wise.
Remember, Sony still has a patent of a TV advertisement that has you stand up at the shop just to make it go away. Nintendo! That's weird. I'm gonna have to make you guys do that for my channel. Guys, 3 minutes ad breaks, unless you say the Twitch streamer name. By the way, I will have to run. Ah! Oh wow, you've stopped the ads for a little while. Good work. I lied, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to run the 3 minutes of ads so that we don't have an hour. I'm just gonna do it now, alright? I've swapped down my automatic ad breaks to every 20 minutes. But I don't know, I like chatting at the moment, so I'm gonna continue chatting without ads for the majority of the chatting. So one moment, please. Well, hey there, just wanted to pop in real quick and say, wow, you're halfway through my first highlights video. Thank you. If you enjoyed watching what you're watching right now, remember to like and subscribe. It will really help me out since I'm just starting out on YouTube. And that's all I wanted to say. Now go back to watching me talk about VR. Yeah, everyone that thinks that idea is cool, say number 1 with the motors, with the exosuit. If you think the next big step in VR is exosuit, type 1. If you don't, what do you think it is? Do you think it's grab shit with hand? Do you think it is like being able to pick up objects is like really cool and like feel it? Do you think, I don't know, do you think temperature, right? Do you want to wear a suit that like gives you like temperature sensations? That'd be really cool in the summer if it has like active cooling somehow. 700 Peltier fucking cooling pads on your body to make you feel cold. You know, that's probably how they would do it though, right? Peltier pads are like the very like simple, low friction, you can do it like just with electricity type of cooler. That's the ones you have to avoid when you look for like little room like fridges. If you look for like little desk fridges or whatever, you have to avoid the Peltier ones because they don't do anything. Yeah, they are inefficient, that's what but they are just electricity, you know. And I think like for the most part, for like your body to like feel temperatures, you only need to really like do like 1 or 2 degrees, right? It only needs to be like a little colder or a little hotter to be like, oh, that's a difference. Whoa. Just depends on if we can keep up with that, you know? And given that Peltiers are very inefficient, they're probably really safe to do that too as well, you know? Do as like heat sensors, heat and cool, like senders, receivers, whatever. They should put Peltier pads in my gamer controller. How far are we getting from those gyroscope walking station things? I don't know. Those like, see, the treadmills are weird, right? Because how do you even predict where you're moving correctly, right? Hey, what are the vibes in here? Hope stream's going well. We're talking about VR. My vibes is just I talk about my hyperfixations and everyone goes along with it. Yeah, I was just waiting for ads to go over, so we can continue watching Meta's new VR research is legitimately wild.
Together, it's pretty easy to see what virtual reality is going to look like over
Thank you,
the next
Vi.
5 to 15 years. And so, I think the best one to start with is the one that's most likely to happen sooner, which is Meta's prototype for an extremely wide field of view VR headset. Something that already
200 degrees is wild. That's like all of your field of vision.
sort of exists today with various Pimax headsets and even the legendary
Yeah, but the Pimax is like a fucking, you're wearing a theater on your head. That's like so
Star VR 1
difficult.
video about a couple years ago, but
You know what? I forget what I made the
truly never
title
been something like
code
this.
today.
For some context, for the past decade or so, the VR industry has been more or less stuck in the one.
Yeah, that's been like a big thing with VR. Has been like, especially recently, I've been like, as I've been like trying to get like my eye tracking to work and failing, has been to make it like, you have to like zoom it out, like push it out so that the eye tracking works, but then it feels even more like you have a helmet on. Like if you don't have VR but you want to know what it feels like to use VR, put on like a bike helmet, right? And then that field of view on like a racing helmet or whatever, that's like, you got even less than that. So like imagine that view but like a little less, and it's like, that's weird. It's short, it's weird, it's tiny, but it still works. But I feel like that leads to like a lot of like the not being able to perceive a lot of things in VR. Do I have gloves on right now? No, I've got Leap Motion. I got cool Leap Motion. The classic old Leap Motion before they were bought out and before their company went out of business. And it gets, oh boy, it gets warm. I could like cook a chicken with this. Fry an egg. Not really. But it does melt. It does slightly melt the little plastic mount that I have it in. So like it warps out and like gets like it starts to slide. It seems so accurate. I have it in a good position that like sometimes it goes, "Wah." It goes like really weird in some spots. And sometimes it sees like other weird things because of glass or whatever. Like, but yeah, it does pretty well. It's good. It works.
100 to 110 degree field of view range. And while there have been devices that do have much wider field of view than one,
Yeah, or
it
diamonds.
usually comes at a huge cost in size, weight, and distortion. Which is
Fuck. Imagine my, like, I have a heavy headset. Imagine this on your skull, right?
exactly where these two headsets are.
That's a unit. That's
Different, with both prototypes
crazy.
achieving near human field of view at 180 degrees horizontal and 120 degrees vertical. But there's also something
That's
else that's
wild.
pretty special about this headset.
180.
Whereas most modern wide virtual reality devices might have large custom Fresnel or aspheric lenses that warp the display's light directly into your eyes, usually resulting in a lot of distracting visual artifacts and, well, warping. This prototype uses something called high
Check out this video after. Okie dokie.
curvature polarized catadioptric optics, which is really just a
What was that
fancy
word?
way of saying this is basically the next generation of super wide field of view pancake lenses. Yeah, these are just pancake lenses. And believe it or not, this is technically not a new idea. In fact, as I was looking into this research paper,
Your avatar
I
looks
learned
great, by
that
the way.
this
Oh my god,
method
thank
of
you.
high field of view pancake optics for use in VR has been a thing for quite a while now, with this paper from 2017 outlining 3M's findings in curved folded
That word isn't real. What? Birefringent? Birefringent. Reflective polarizers. You just made that up. They just made up that word. That's not a real word. Catadioptric. What?
with optics. Now, obviously, Meta's prototype is quite a bit more advanced after years of research, and there's a lot more that's going on here. But once you know where this technology comes from, it's a little easier to see where it's actually going to go, as this quite literally is the next generation of pancake lenses, truly for the
Whoa, that's so much vision. What the heck?
first time ever, enabling Quest 3 form factor with an extremely wide field of view. Now, whether this exact thing ever comes to a headset, I doubt that we'll get
I can't believe 2017 was almost a decade. Oh fuck, you're right. I had the Vive, not the Vive, the Oculus DK1. I had that. And I tried all the cool things you could do with the DK1. I played Team Fortress 2. I played that one game where you can like stand on a ledge and then it's like, whoa, you're on top of the building. And then I did so many other things. Wow, what a technology. I think I tried to get Mirror's Edge working, but it didn't work. And then I got the Vive, and then I got VR chat, and then now my life has been forever altered. Forever altered. For the better, for the worst, I don't know. That's up for you to decide.
thing this extreme. But I could absolutely see at least some of this technology making its way into whatever Meta's next Quest successor is. And I think it's pretty safe to say that if
2017
field of view
feels like it was
does go up in
yesterday.
future headsets,
Like, almost? I don't know. Like, when I think about it, it's like, oh shit, that was a long time ago. But then also I'm like, what do I remember from 2017? I don't know.
and pancake lenses are used,
Yeah, like it's been dragging on, but also like time's fucked.
then this is probably exactly how they did it. However, as we move on to the next paper,
Well, they're
I
playing
have to ask,
Lego.
what comes after pancake lenses? As our current pancakes get better and cheaper to manufacture, as we've already seen happen with the Quest 3, what's the next lens or display technology leap after pancakes and OLEDs? And oh boy, am I glad that you asked, because that's exactly what Meta's next paper is all about. Published about 3 days ago in collaboration
The scientific paper, synthetic aperture waveguide holography for compact mixed reality
with
displays.
researchers from Stanford, this paper outlines a significant breakthrough in probably the most
I don't really like, I don't get a lot of like I'm not really that into like mixed reality stuff. I don't know. I saw the SAO movie of the mixed reality and I was like, this is boring.
Of VR devices.
But maybe that's like because that's a sought out online film. But I don't know, I've always seen that when like, oh, like it's kind of neat, but it's like it feels like a corporate plaything rather than like an actual useful thing. I guess when it's used in its actual intent, like it's not really consumer friendly, I think. Industry friendly? Absolutely, right? Great. Not really like entertainment.
One that I have been
and I'm not in an industry where I need to like look through something. So the closest I've ever been is the portal demo in the VR demo set for, what was that game? The Lab VR game that Valve made.
Synthetic aperture waveguide holopathy, a technology that once mature enough to be shipped and not cost a truck's weight in kidneys, I believe will be the big turning point for VR, as it legitimately solves so many fundamental issues with the technology that we have today. But first, let me outline probably the biggest background issue with VR that nobody really talks about, mostly because it's a little boring and also because there's really nothing we can do about it right now. And that's a phenomenon called the vergence accommodation conflict. And to put it simply, in physical reality, when you're looking around at things that have depth, your eyes naturally adjust their focus plane based on how far or
oh yeah, because you can't focus
VR, however,
in VR.
Your eyes are locked at a single fixed focal distance for everything.
That's probably why my vision's getting fucked
to
up.
some people, this isn't that big of a deal, and you can get used to it. But for everyone else, if you've ever left a VR session and had an inexplicable eye pain or even just a small headache, well, this is more than likely why. Your eyes are not meant to work this way. And on top of that, devices that are prone to the vergence accommodation,
I think I've seen a video
conflict,
about like this type of like depth shit
never fully represent
for like an
a
AR
3D image.
glass.
While it might look 3D,
or like a
and it's
virtual
about
heads-up
60%
display.
of the way there using stereo overlap, it's just nowhere close to a true holographic display that utilizes depth cues. This right here is the #1 reason why I'm so excited about these new waveguide displays. For years,
Like why the 3DS didn't work on a broader scale. Yeah.
systems and headsets. You may remember the old Half Dome that did exactly this, but every one of those prototypes has been in a far different, much more expensive and unwieldy way with more downsides. And I think it's pretty safe to say that waveguides are kind of the holy grail of both AR and VR. Now, the way this holographic display actually works is a little beyond the scope of this video, and I gotta be honest, it's beyond.
I think there's another
as
video
well.
about
From what
this.
I do understand. Here's the gist. And if you're anything like me, it's a little mind-blowing. So these waveguides do exactly what it sounds like. They guide RGB laser light that's injected into the side of the optic that is guided using what's called a MEMS steerable mirror, which is another absolutely insane rabbit hole. A MEMS mirror is
Whoa.
a microscopic mechanical
Look at that little
chip
vibrating
that
dude.
light with extreme precision, which is insane. But back to the waves. The mirror scans a laser beam across specific angles of the waveguide, which then comes back to form the image after passing through specific microscopic gratings to direct that hologram into your eye. But that's not the only breakthrough here, as that's already kind of existed. The truly crazy thing here is that this is also one of the clearest and most vibrant waveguides of its type ever made. And it's mostly because it was actually co-designed with AI-driven holography. Now, predicting how light
Holography.
is going to behave inside of the waveguide,
Imagine like putting that on your industry. You're like, you go, I work at a holography. What did he say?
He's quite the messy problem, to say the least. You can see what the result actually looks like, and it's not too pretty. So the researchers trained an AI model to understand exactly that. The model then learns to generate the correct holographic phase patterns to form an accurate holographic image, resulting in significant improvements. And so when you put this all together, you can see how this essentially solves one of the largest fundamental issues with VR hardware, at least visually, as this is a true 3D holographic image. It's not just
Actually, I think light field displays are the VR next best thing. I think it needs less lenses, smaller headset while having... Oh, true. Okay. Okay, let's redefine our steps of VR big breakaways, right? This depth thing is that like number one. Then there is exosuit, or just like a hand thing that isn't ass, which we're very close to. And then there is exosuit. Then there's deep dive. The 4 stages of VR. Mark it down on your paper. Mark it down on your tablets. The 4 stages of VR.
The display that you're looking at.
As written in the stone, there's the 4 stages of VR hardware. Or the 5, technically 6 stages of VR. We've already passed the moving around your head and seeing stuff with 2 eyeballs. Then we have being able to track it and give yourself 6 dimensions of freedom with both your headset and your controllers. Then it will be light field display. Then it will be perfect hand mimicry in VR with suitable control surfaces. Then it's the exosuit. And then the final stage would be a deep dive into VR.
Through lens, enabling true depth, no vergence accommodation conflict, and high contrast, while also
The VR Mayan calendar, yeah, by 2029.
solving another massive issue. All of this is done in the smallest form factor that is really possible on a
This is what you just said,
which is
fine.
orders of magnitude smaller than anything on the market. And to be real, this is basically the only technology that's going to
That's like
truly
a
enable actual depth
That's like
where
fucking
anything
sick
on
though.
the
Like that's a look. That's a look. You rock up to like the Neo City art like bar. Like you're cool. You're cool.
And to be real, this is basically the only technology that's going to truly enable actual real glasses form factor VR, which is what multiple people at Meta have said their end goal is. Not to mention, there's obviously this giant like $1 trillion race for AR glasses, which this works for that too. Now, this exact unit is very far from making it into an actual device that you can buy. I mean, not only would this be expensive to say the least, but as promising as this all sounds, it's not entirely usable with only 38 degrees field of view. FOV was clearly not a focus.
38.
More so
Wow.
just getting the actual system working. So yeah, we got a long way to go. But still, I don't think I can understate
That's
how
tiny.
incredibly cool it is to witness an entirely new, legit groundbreaking display technology
Oh, there he is.
evolve right in front of our eyes for
Wow, I
our
paid for
reach. Like,
this.
this is for us guys. Movie buffs
Look at
have
him.
gotten big screen TVs. We get this. And hopefully, at least within the next at least 10 years, we'll be able to watch this technology evolve literally in front of our eyes. Like I said, a lot.
Wait though, wouldn't you be able to solve that depth of field problem with eye tracking? Would that not help? I don't know. I guess having like actual holographic display would be like, oh, the best thing. But I don't know. Next VR milestone, sedative eye drops that lock your eyeballs in place, plus neural sensors that detect attempted eye movements. Oh fuck. That's terrifying.
Been going on. All this stuff was just published in the past couple months. And there's another one that I want to talk about in a future news day, as it's actually
Hyper-realistic
not published yet. It
VR,
has to do with
99
hyper-real
90
VR. We're talking about
PPD.
90 pixels per degree, 1400
Oh.
nits to the eye. Meta says themselves that it's just about the most realistic VR out there, so I'll have to wait for that paper. But again, I wanted to address how consumer
At least
VR
he's
has
paying
been
money
just
to
a
do all
little
that for
rough
us.
lately. Like nothing bad, just
Thank you for
nothing.
Thank you for using your fucked up dollars to fund VR improvements, Mr. Zuckerberg.
Things been going on. And I wanted to rebuttal that with saying, I don't think VR's in a bad spot necessarily.
I love whatever that is. I love that unit. That's a cool unit. I want that one. Give me that one. I want the one that has the 2 handles and the
say that
fucking...
the industry right now is
That's so
really just
cool.
finding itself. It's
I
lost
love that.
and a bit directionless maybe, but I feel like it's only a matter of time before the entire industry regains its confidence and comes back for a second wind. Or is it the 30th wind at this point? I don't know. Which is why I'm so excited for all this research.
Yeah, what is
This research
mother
is
horse
experimental,
eyes?
quite literally.
Young
And
Sax,
I
you
think
need
it'll
to
be better for
you
it.
need to tell
But
me.
I saved
What
the
is it?
biggest news
What
for
does it
last,
mean?
At least the biggest personal VR news.
What does the
probably,
numbers mean?
that I've ever talked about. As a lot has been going on for myself and the channel, and I figured I'd just give you guys an update. So, in case you guys didn't know, Fia, the virtual reality show, you might know her. We've been dating for about the past 4 years now, and over that time, we've shared so many memories and had endless conversations
yeah.
about VR. We've hosted
The
events
VR
together.
couple.
We've done a few videos on her channel together as well, and also more often than not, if you're ever watching one of my videos and you see me in the shot and there's a camera that's moving, well, she's probably the one that's behind the camera. She's been an immense help and just an awesome partner. And well, I just wanted to say that as of a couple months ago, Fia is now my ex-girlfriend. And that's because
No, I was about to. Oh no, fuck! I was about to say, and now they've broken up. But then I was like, oh no, but they're like, it sounds positive, so I guess they haven't. Shit.
now fiance. Yeah, we went on a little trip and
Oh no, it is positive. Oh my god, the double fucking the cold fucking what the heck? That's like right before the breaks, and then it comes back to this. Like, oh my god, the drama. What the heck? That's crazy. I was like, what? No. Ah, fucking pulled a Simon Cowell on me.
yeah.
Absolute trash. Absolutely vilely amazing. Like what do you, Simon Cowell? What the heck?
So this kind of marks a big change, both in my personal life and for the channel, as a lot is going on right now. Like, I can't believe how many things.
This is VTuber good end. This is good end of the VTuber like hierarchy. we have Thrill Seeker and Fia. That's got the good end of VR, as well as PewDiePie. They've got good ending. Sorry, we need to figure out how to get good ending on YouTube.
My life are just changing all at once. We're in the middle of moving to a totally new studio, so I'm excited to show you guys that. I've been working on a brand new series that I've been excited about for no joke a couple years, but I finally am pulling the trigger on it, and I've got a bit of a backlog of videos that I need to take care of. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm excited for the future. There's a ton of work to be done, and there's some fights to be had, and not everything's perfect, but I'm excited. And so, kind of an intense amount of change all happening at once, moving, fiance, videos. I also ditched Adobe entirely. Welcome to the first video edited on this channel entirely on DaVinci, Adobe. And I also
DaVinci.
those things. Yeah, basically everything in my life has kind of been changing lately, but I'm happy for it. And for the first time in a while, I'm actually excited to make videos and talk about VR again. Anyways, make sure to leave a question of the week down below. I read every single comment, and I try to answer as many as I possibly can. But also,
That would
thank
be
you so
cool to
much
play in
all my
VR
supporters
again.
on Patreon.
Looks like they've
Couldn't do any
improved
of
a
this
lot.
without you, and I got some cool stuff coming to Patreon pretty soon. And like always, don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love, Thrill out.
I will look into it, yeah. But first, we have this video to look at from Fi. What is this? Better not be a... No, it's a demo.
Our bodies experience a wide variety of kinesthetic forces, including the weight of objects, linear accelerations, centripetal forces,
Full body haptic exosuit using low-cost motor... What?
forces are simply not possible with today's consumer haptic suits.
1 month ago?
which
Oh my god, Fi, you've blown my mind.
generally only contain vibration actuators. Conversely, exoskeletons can apply forces to users' joints, but are generally
I fucking knew it. I knew it!
cumbersome to wear and cost many thousands of dollars. In this work, we describe a new haptic suit design built around motorized
Yo, they got the fucking, they got the, what's it called? they got the Nintendo Labo. They got the Nintendo Labo VR. What the heck?
wheels for string-based actuation. We employ different string mechanisms to achieve varying levels of mechanical advantage, allowing us to generate large forces with a compact design. These mechanisms can also usefully reroute and distribute forces. This approach also helps keep our suit flexible, lightweight, able to run on batteries, comparatively low cost, and yet capable of rendering expressive, distributed...
$420? Crazy.
both kinesthetic
Of like
and
parts, I would
vertical.
assume?
Our prototype is easy to put on and comfortable, able to be worn in under 60 seconds, and distributing load effectively, important for consumer use. Our demos focus on kinesthetic haptics, rarely available in consumer systems. We also incorporate vibrotactile effects. Starting most simple, we can render
So how do
constant
they-
forces, such as the weight of held objects.
Yeah.
In this demo,
That's cool.
users can also place the objects into their backpack and feel
Oh, what the heck?
We can render full body effects, such as being weighed down in a high gravity environment.
Yo.
Continuous dynamic forces are also possible, as seen in this racing game with centripetal forces. The user is pulled left and right while turning, and jerks forward when crashing. In a similar fashion, we can simulate linear accelerations by pulling the user backwards. Imperceptible in this
Wow.
game are vibration effects, which increase as the user's spaceship launches. We can also render elastic, tension, and compression forces. In this scene, the user has been captured and is being tied up and squeezed by a rope. Objects and effects can impart reactive
Got the
forces,
stinky gas
like
coming
when
out of
the
his
user casts
mouth.
a water jet spell to extinguish a fire.
Oh, there's a fire.
Rigid body surface contact is also
Oops.
readily achieved. Our system can also render haptic animations, such as the high-frequency vibrations and low-frequency swaying felt when on a train, or
Wow.
while being buffeted by water.
VR
under a
train
water-
simulator.
Social animations are also possible, such as handshakes, high fives, and hugs. Our suit can also impart short-duration impulse and impact forces.
I guess
such
the only problem is like figuring out how to avoid being tangled, right?
as collisions
but-
from NPCs and objects. Explosive forces can also be simulated with a full-body impulse. We detail our implementation and results from a multi-part user study and performance evaluation. Please see our paper for full detail.
That's so clever. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. And then stick that on like a system that lets you like be floated up in the air. That you'd probably still need motors for. But that's what I'm talking about. That's innovation, baby. Wow, thank you for watching my first highlights video all the way through. It's like 45 minutes long. Whether you're working or you're asleep right now or you just watched all the way through, like, thank you so much. YouTube thinks you're gonna like these videos, so click them, whatever you do. And if you want to be in my streams, I stream over on twitch.tv, all the same name, Jesse Android. So come watch me live. About like 11 p.m. or something, Australian time. Translate that to wherever you are. But thank you so much. Bye, 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 bye.